You don't just fall in love. You repeat a pattern. You call it chemistry, timing, bad luck, a magnetic pull you can't explain. But a lot of the time, what you call love is actually recognition. Your body meets something familiar before your mind has a chance to ask whether it's safe. That's why the wrong person can feel weirdly right. That's why calm love can feel boring when chaos once felt like home. You're not impossible to love. You're not too much or too detached or too confusing. You may just be loving from a blueprint you didn't consciously choose. And once you see it, a lot of your history starts glowing in the dark. Because the question usually isn't, why do you love so deeply? The question is, why does love wake up this exact version of you? Picture this. You send a text and then stare at your phone like it holds your oxygen. Or somebody gets a little too close, a little too consistent, and suddenly you feel trapped by the very thing you said you wanted. Or maybe you swing between both, craving closeness one day, needing distance the next, feeling guilty in both directions. You replay someone's tone. You decode pauses. You notice tiny changes in energy, like your nervous system has a private detective living inside it. Then you tell yourself you're overreacting, even while your chest is tightening and your thoughts are sprinting laps at 2 a.m. From the outside, it can look dramatic, needy, cold, confusing, intense. But inside, it often feels like survival. Like your heart is trying to solve a problem your childhood never named. And here's what's really happening. Your attachment style is not your personality. It's the strategy your system learned for staying connected, staying protected, or trying to do both at the same time. Most people think love problems come from choosing the wrong people. But often, they come from bringing an old emotional map into a new relationship. That map shapes what feels safe, what feels suspicious, what feels irresistible, and what feels unbearable. That's why you can know better and still repeat the same dynamic. Knowledge speaks to your mind. Attachment speaks to your body. So let's break down the 4 attachment styles in the only way that actually matters. How they show up when you're texting, waiting, craving, withdrawing, overgiving, shutting down, and trying not to care when you care way too much. Because once you understand the pattern stops feeling like your identity. Number 1. Before you fall for a person, you usually fall into a pattern. This is the hidden blueprint underneath all 4 attachment styles. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for cues of safety, rejection, control, inconsistency, and closeness. It does this fast, faster than logic, faster than your "I'm not doing this again" speech. So if love feels intense very quickly, or suspiciously heavy, that doesn't always mean it's deep. Sometimes it means it's familiar. You're not irrational, you're patterned, like a playlist your body made years ago that still autoplays when intimacy gets real. And that matters, because once you see the playlist, you can stop calling every old song fate. But here's the part people miss. The pattern changes shape depending on the style. Number 2. If you love with anxious attachment, you don't just want connection. You monitor it. You notice delayed replies, tiny shifts in tone, the difference between good night and good night, like it's a crime scene. Not because you're dramatic, but because inconsistency can feel like danger when your system learned that love might disappear without warning. This style often runs on hypervigilance and a reward loop that can feel brutal. A little affection gives you relief. Distance triggers alarm. Then one warm moment pulls you back in. It's emotional slot machine energy. Unpredictability becomes addictive because your body is chasing reassurance, not peace. You're not needy, you're scanning. You're not crazy, you're trying to secure connection before it slips through your hands. Like holding water tighter and tighter, only to watch it escape faster. And that's where it gets weird. The more you reach for certainty, the more love can start feeling like a test you can never fully pass, which leads to the opposite strategy. Number 3. If you love with avoidant attachment, you may crave closeness right up until it arrives. At first, distance feels easy. You can idealize love when it's not asking much from you. But when someone becomes emotionally available, when they want more honesty, more softness, more access, something in you can start backing away. You get irritated, numb, restless. Suddenly, every flaw in them is in high definition. This usually isn't because you feel nothing. It's often because you feel too much, and your system learned that dependence is risky. So you protect yourself by staying self-contained. Independence becomes armor that looks like personality. You're not heartless, you're defended. You're not cold, you're carefully armored. Like keeping every app open in the background, but refusing to let anyone see your screen. The tragedy is that you can mistake calm vulnerability for pressure, and emotional distance for freedom. But there's an even more tangled style people rarely talk about honestly. Number 4. If you love with disorganized attachment, love can feel like both the medicine and the threat. You want to be chosen deeply, fully, finally. But the moment it starts feeling real, fear floods in. You move toward someone and away from them almost at the same time. You can become intensely attached, then suddenly detached. You can overshare, then disappear. Trust feels beautiful for about 5 seconds, and then your threat detection system starts writing horror stories. This style often forms when closeness and pain got wired together early. So intimacy doesn't just activate longing, it can also activate alarm. Your body can read tenderness and danger in the same breath. You're not unstable. You're conflicted. You're not too much. You're carrying mixed signals in one nervous system. Like pressing the gas and the brakes at the same time, then wondering why love smells like smoke. And here's the twist. There is a style that doesn't feel as loud, but changes everything. Number 5. Secure attachment doesn't mean you never fear love. It means fear doesn't run the whole relationship. Secure people still get hurt. They still want reassurance. They still have moments of doubt. But they usually don't build a whole identity around chasing, testing, withdrawing, or performing for love. They can ask. They can receive. They can repair. Secure love is often quieter than trauma chemistry, and that's why some people overlook it. It doesn't spike your system the same way. It doesn't make you obsess in the dark. It feels steadier, cleaner, less cinematic. But that's the point. It lets you rest. You're not bored, you're unfamiliar with peace. You're not missing the spark. You may be missing the chaos your body once confused for intimacy. And once you realize that, the whole story of your love life starts to rearrange itself. Here's the beautiful contradiction. The part of you that sabotages love is often the same part that was trying to save you. Your clinginess may have been your genius for tracking disconnection before it blindsided you. Your distance may have been your brilliance at surviving without dependable softness. Your mixed signals may have come from a heart that learned early that closeness could comfort you and cut you in the same motion. So yes, your attachment style can create mess, but it also reveals how hard you worked to protect your ability to bond at all. You became adaptive, creative, alert. You found a way to keep reaching for love, even if the reaching got distorted. That means your pattern is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that you learned, and learned under pressure. Still, this is where compassion has to stay honest. A pattern can protect you and still cost you. Anxious attachment can turn into over-pursuing people who keep you starving. Avoidant attachment can become a polished form of self-abandonment where you call it standards, but it's really fear of being known. Disorganized attachment can keep you in emotional whiplash so intense that you mistake unpredictability for passion. Even secure people can lean too hard on being fine and skip hard conversations. So the goal isn't to shame yourself for your style. It's to notice when your protection starts picking your pain for you. When your strategy stops helping and starts quietly running your love life like outdated software. A gentler reframe sounds like this. Not, "What's wrong with you?" but, "What is this pattern trying to prevent?" Because when you ask that, you stop fighting your reactions like they're enemies. You start reading them like signals. And signals can be worked with. Maybe that's the real relief here. You don't have to keep calling your oldest wound your type. You don't have to confuse being activated with being aligned. You don't have to become a different person to love differently. You just have to recognize the version of you that shows up when love touches the bruise. Because the way you love is not random. It's a language your body learned before you had words. And now you do have words. You have names for the patterns. You have light for the hallway. You have a chance to stop romanticizing what hurts just because it feels familiar. And sometimes, healing starts there. Not with a grand transformation, just with the quiet, almost radical moment where you finally say, "Oh, that's why." So tell the truth in the comments. Team anxious or team avoidant? Or are you the one who swings between both? And if this hits something real, watch the next video on why you confuse chemistry with compatibility, because that's where this pattern starts choosing your partners before you do.